So, the Lord has been talking to me so much about a new season coming up or something around the corner. And I've got four visions within a 3 day span, 2 to 3 day span, and it all is around a similar theme. So hopefully I can make this video short enough for a short, but if not, I'll try to make it into a wider video. Um, Before I tell you all the messages that God has been given to me, and I'm just now getting them all together because I've been so busy, but um, before I mention that, I want to mention that we all have access to the Holy Spirit. So while we can give out messages for other people, it's always a good idea, and what God's original plan is for us to go to Him and hear a message for ourselves. So just keep that in mind, that some of these things might be confirmation for you, and you'll need to be able to hear God to go get confirmation, or He'll be able to give you confirmation in some way. Because remember, He says, "My sheep hear my voice." Vision 1, I saw the Lord sitting on the ground through what looked like some kind of square entryway with wood framing all around the entry or the area, that you could go through it, but I could only see Him through it. Um, I wasn't going through it yet. I was just close to it. He was calm and he was sitting on the ground. He had his white robe on with his red robe over the white robe. He was looking out into the sunset, and someone was standing beside him, but the person beside him was a shadow. So I couldn't see who the shadow was. So it was like either a promise or a person or whatever, that thing that is not being revealed yet. And it looked like we were on a really tall mountain, and there was a ledge right over on the other side of Jesus and this person. So the Lord was sitting to the left, and this person was standing to the right, and they weren't too far from me. It was almost like I was getting ready to go to them, and it felt like the promised land. When you cross over to the promised land, and they were waiting for me, but I didn't fully cross over yet. And then the whole scene started shaking. So there was a shaking also. So I was basically staring into the promised land and was very close to it, but not crossed over yet. So vision 2, Jesus' face was really close to me again. I was viewing him from the side, and he had a crown of thorns on his head. And directly behind him, I saw all these stars, like clusters of stars, thousands, millions of stars. And it was a pretty purple and blue tone galaxy, and it was kind of lit up. And there was many stars, and then I heard right directly after the Lord said, "Be ready." The third vision, I saw Jesus on his throne, and this time he was in a king outfit. It wasn't a white robe. He was in a king colored robe, like a king would wear. So it was like fancy luxury. And he was pointing to me, and I knew what he meant when he was pointing to me. He was like, "You." He was saying without speaking, "You." So the message is for you. God can do it for you. It can be for you. Because some of you probably question or doubt that God can do these things. And then the fourth vision, Jesus was standing around the corner, like between two walls, and they were basically, the two walls were touching his shoulder, both his shoulders. So it was a very tight space. He had his head down and his back was to me. And I felt like this message was saying it's around the corner. It's not in full view yet. He was sad because of the doubt that we sometimes have that can cause delays. So like he can make us a promise, and the promise can be delayed, like the Israelites, if we keep doubting or complaining or anything like that. So he's sad because if we doubt, he's trying to say, hey, it's right around the corner, just don't doubt. And he gets really excited about these promises, so it makes him sad when we start to doubt. I'm going to sum up all of these visions, but you can go to my site to read the full interpretation of all of it. Um, But to sum it up, it's a season is ending. Things are being shaken. You're near a transition point. God is calling you to readiness and preparation. His attention is personally directed towards you for the promise, and there is something ahead that is close enough to be seen in part but not fully revealed yet. The repeated symbols of partial sight suggest that the full picture remains hidden for now, but the direction of movement is forward rather than backward. Again, you can go to my site. I have a full interpretation of all these visions, as well as additional prophetic messages I got that kind of pulled it all together, and God guiding me and helping me to understand what He wanted to say. And sometimes the Lord just gives me this knowing of what these visions mean. Like, actually, most of the time, I just get an understanding. So basically, there is a new season coming, and God is saying to be prepared for that.